The first night in Thailand often begins with curiosity and excitement, but many travelers quickly realize they have stepped into a world they don't fully understand. Neon lights, smiling faces, friendly conversations, and prices that seem confusing or change from one place to another create an atmosphere where expectations and reality often collide. Some tourists arrive thinking everything is cheap and simple, while others fear being scammed at every corner. The truth sits somewhere in the middle, and knowing how things really work can save both money and trouble. Thailand has long been known as one of the most popular destinations in Asia for nightlife and adult entertainment. Tourists from all over the world come not only for beaches and food, but also for the nightlife culture that operates openly in certain cities. However, what many first-time visitors don't realize is that prices, expectations, and situations vary widely depending on location, timing, and the people involved. One of the biggest misconceptions is that everything is extremely cheap. Years ago, that might have been closer to reality, but tourism growth has changed the market. Popular areas attract millions of visitors each year, and with demand comes higher prices. Today, costs can vary significantly depending on the city, neighborhood, and type of venue. In tourist-heavy nightlife zones, prices are usually higher than in local neighborhoods. Bars, clubs, and entertainment streets are designed for foreign visitors, and many businesses expect customers to spend freely. Drinks may cost several times more than in normal Thai bars, and additional expenses often appear unexpectedly. A common situation for newcomers is meeting someone in a bar or club and assuming that buying drinks is the only cost involved. However, some venues charge additional fees when someone leaves with a customer. These fees are not always explained clearly to tourists beforehand, which leads to confusion or arguments later. Experienced travelers usually ask about conditions and costs in advance to avoid misunderstandings. The price range itself varies depending on many factors. Tourist cities such as Bangkok, Pattaya, or Phuket usually have higher rates compared to smaller towns. High season, holidays, and weekends also affect prices. In busy periods, demand increases and so do costs. Another factor influencing prices is appearance, language ability, and experience of the person you meet. Some workers speak multiple languages and have years of experience dealing with tourists, which can make them more expensive. Others may be newer to the scene and offer lower prices. Negotiation also plays a role, although it should always remain respectful. One important thing tourists often overlook is that entertainment workers are not all in the same situation. Some work independently, some work through bars or agencies, and others may be freelancers using nightlife areas simply to meet customers. Each group has different expectations regarding payment and time. Another reality many travelers discover is that some people they meet may not be what they initially assume. Thailand is famous for its transgender nightlife scene, and visitors unfamiliar with local culture can sometimes feel surprised or confused. Experienced travelers usually advise being polite and clear about expectations to avoid awkward situations. Scams are another concern. While many people working in nightlife areas behave professionally, there are also cases where tourists are misled or pressured into paying more than expected. One common scenario involves unexpected drink bills. A traveler might be invited to buy drinks for someone and later receive a much larger bill than anticipated, sometimes including drinks for friends or staff. Another situation involves promises that change later. A tourist might agree on a price, only to be told later that additional payment is required for more time or different arrangements. Clear communication at the beginning usually prevents these problems, but alcohol and excitement sometimes make people careless. Taxi and transportation scams also occur near nightlife zones. Drivers may refuse to use meters or charge inflated prices late at night. Tourists unfamiliar with normal rates often overpay simply because they don't know better. Safety is another aspect many visitors ignore when they first arrive. Alcohol, crowded streets, and unfamiliar surroundings increase risks. Theft, lost belongings, and fights sometimes happen in nightlife districts, especially late at night. Keeping valuables secure and avoiding aggressive situations helps reduce problems. Another important issue is expectations versus reality. Some tourists arrive thinking they will experience endless parties and easy adventures every night. In reality, nightlife can become repetitive, expensive, and tiring. Many experienced travelers recommend balancing nightlife with daytime activities, travel, and cultural experiences to avoid burnout. Money management also matters. Some travelers spend far more than planned because nightlife expenses accumulate quickly. Drinks, entrance fees, transportation, food, and entertainment costs can add up within a single evening. Setting a budget before going out helps maintain control. Technology has also changed how things work. Dating apps and social media now play a large role in nightlife connections. Some travelers prefer meeting people through apps instead of bars, believing it reduces costs. However, this method has its own risks, including fake profiles and people expecting financial support. Cultural differences also create misunderstandings. Thai culture values politeness and avoiding confrontation. Visitors who behave aggressively or disrespectfully often find themselves unwelcome or facing problems. Respectful behavior usually leads to better experiences. Another thing travelers often misunderstand is that not every friendly interaction is transactional. Some people genuinely enjoy meeting foreigners, practicing English, or simply having a conversation. Assuming every interaction involves money can lead to awkward moments. Long-term visitors sometimes notice that repeated nightlife experiences start to feel less exciting over time. Prices seem higher, and situations become predictable. Many travelers eventually shift their focus toward exploring the country beyond entertainment districts. Seasoned travelers often share advice, ask questions clearly, agree on expectations beforehand, carry limited cash, avoid showing large amounts of money, and stay aware of surroundings. Simple precautions prevent most negative experiences. The reality is that Thailand offers many different experiences, and nightlife is only one part of it. Beautiful islands, mountains, street food culture, temples, markets, and friendly locals provide far richer memories than endless nights in bars. Travelers who balance both sides often enjoy their trip more. For content creators or travel bloggers discussing this topic, honesty is important. Sensational titles attract clicks, but viewers stay longer when they receive practical information and real experiences. Explaining how prices vary, what situations travelers encounter, and how to avoid common mistakes creates more valuable content than simply showing nightlife scenes. Tourists also need to remember that laws and regulations exist, even if enforcement varies. Respecting local rules and behaving responsibly reduces chances of legal trouble or conflict. At the end of the day, nightlife in Thailand is neither the paradise some imagine nor the dangerous trap others fear. It is simply a business environment shaped by tourism, culture, and economics. Understanding how it works helps travelers make informed choices and enjoy their trip without unnecessary stress. Those who arrive prepared, respect local customs, communicate clearly, and manage their spending usually leave with interesting stories rather than regrets. And often, after experiencing the excitement once or twice, many visitors discover that the real magic of Thailand lies not under neon lights at midnight, but in the sunrise over a quiet beach or the chaos of a bustling street market the next morning. Travelers who come to Thailand for the first time often hear stories about its nightlife long before they arrive. Online forums, travel videos, and word-of-mouth stories create an image of easy encounters and open entertainment districts. But once visitors land in the country, many realize they don't actually know where things happen or how tourists usually find these services. The reality is more structured and location-based than many expect, and understanding where people go, and why, helps explain how the nightlife ecosystem functions. Most tourists don't randomly encounter adult entertainment while walking through normal neighborhoods. Instead, nightlife activity is concentrated in specific districts built around tourism. These areas combine bars, clubs, restaurants, hotels, and entertainment venues in one place, making them convenient for visitors who want everything within walking distance. Hotels and travel agencies rarely promote these zones directly, but experienced travelers know where they are. In Bangkok, the country's capital, several districts are known for nightlife that attracts foreigners. Streets come alive after sunset, with neon lights, loud music, and promoters inviting people inside venues. Tourists walking through these areas quickly notice that many establishments cater specifically to visitors rather than locals. Staff members often speak English or other foreign languages, menus are translated, and prices are adjusted to tourist expectations. One of the most well-known nightlife zones in the capital is around Sukhumvit Road, where multiple entertainment streets operate close to each other. Travelers staying in nearby hotels often simply walk outside at night and find bars lined up one after another. Inside, people meet casually over drinks, conversations begin easily, and interactions often develop from there. Some visitors come only to watch the atmosphere, while others actively look for company. Another famous destination is Pattaya, a coastal city that has become internationally known for its nightlife scene. Many tourists travel there specifically because entertainment districts are concentrated and easy to navigate. Streets packed with bars, music, and crowds stretch for long distances, creating an environment where visitors can walk from venue to venue until they find a place they enjoy. In Pattaya, the system is straightforward: people move between bars, drink, socialize, and sometimes negotiate arrangements privately. Because the city has long depended on tourism, businesses are highly experienced in dealing with foreigners. First-time visitors often feel surprised at how openly nightlife operates compared to their home countries. Meanwhile, the island destination of Phuket also has districts catering to party-oriented tourists. Travelers often spend the day at beaches and then head to nightlife streets after sunset. The atmosphere here mixes vacation energy with club culture, attracting short-term tourists rather than long-stay visitors. Many encounters begin casually in bars or clubs before moving elsewhere. However, bars and clubs are not the only way tourists meet people. Technology has changed how nightlife works. Dating apps and social platforms now play a big role in connecting visitors with locals or freelancers. Some tourists prefer this method because they believe it reduces costs and avoids bar expenses. Yet, online connections bring their own risks, including fake profiles or misunderstandings about expectations. Hotels themselves sometimes become meeting points. Visitors staying in nightlife areas may invite guests back after meeting them outside. Many hotels in tourist districts are used to this and have specific policies about guest registration. Travelers unfamiliar with local practices sometimes encounter surprises if they do not check hotel rules beforehand. Massage shops also play a role in certain areas, although services and reputations vary widely. Some establishments operate as legitimate massage businesses, while others target tourists seeking additional services. The difference is not always obvious to newcomers, and travelers often learn through experience or recommendations. Street encounters also happen, especially late at night. People walking alone may be approached by someone offering company. While sometimes harmless, these situations can also involve scams or misunderstandings. Experienced travelers recommend being cautious and avoiding situations that feel rushed or pressured. Bars often function as social spaces rather than purely transactional ones. Tourists may spend time talking, playing games, or simply enjoying conversation before anything else happens. For many visitors, the social interaction itself becomes part of the experience rather than just the outcome. Another important detail is that different areas attract different crowds. Some nightlife zones focus on younger partygoers, others attract older visitors, and some cater to specific nationalities or interests. Tourists often explore multiple areas before finding a place where they feel comfortable. Money expectations vary depending on location and situation. Prices may change between cities, between central and less touristy streets, and even between venues on the same street. Visitors who ask politely and clarify expectations beforehand usually avoid problems, while those who assume everything is cheap sometimes end up spending far more than planned. Alcohol plays a big role in nightlife interactions. Many tourists make decisions late at night that they would reconsider the next morning. Spending increases quickly, and misunderstandings become more likely when people are intoxicated. Seasoned travelers advise pacing yourself and staying aware of expenses. Scams are part of the nightlife ecosystem in many tourist destinations worldwide, and Thailand is no exception. Inflated drink bills, misunderstandings about time or payment, or pressure to buy additional drinks are situations visitors sometimes face. Most problems can be avoided by staying alert and communicating clearly. Another surprise for some travelers is the diversity of people working in nightlife. Individuals come from different regions, backgrounds, and motivations. Some see nightlife work as temporary, others as long-term employment. Tourists often oversimplify the situation without understanding the economic realities behind it. Transportation also affects where tourists meet people. Tuk-tuk drivers and taxi drivers often know nightlife areas well and may offer to take visitors there. While convenient, some drivers receive commissions from certain venues, meaning tourists may not always be taken to the best or cheapest options. Tour guides or long-term expats sometimes introduce newcomers to nightlife scenes. Travelers often trust recommendations from someone familiar with the area, though experiences vary depending on the guide's motives. One aspect often overlooked is that many tourists eventually grow tired of nightlife routines. After several nights out, spending money, and repeating similar experiences, some travelers begin exploring other parts of the country. Thailand offers temples, islands, mountains, and cultural attractions far beyond entertainment districts. For content creators discussing nightlife topics, honesty is important. Sensationalism attracts clicks, but viewers stay longer when they receive useful information. Explaining where things happen, how to avoid problems, and how nightlife really operates provides value rather than just shock factor. Another important factor is safety. Walking alone late at night in unfamiliar areas carries risks everywhere in the world. Travelers should watch their belongings, avoid confrontations, and keep friends informed of their location. Experienced visitors often recommend starting slowly, walking through nightlife districts first, observing the atmosphere, and understanding how things work before participating. Rushing into situations often leads to overspending or misunderstandings. Cultural respect also matters. Visitors who behave politely and avoid treating locals disrespectfully generally have better experiences. Friendly interaction goes a long way in avoiding conflict. Interestingly, many tourists report that their most memorable experiences in Thailand involve daytime activities, food tours, island trips, or local markets, rather than nightlife alone. Entertainment districts are only one aspect of travel, not the whole story. Ultimately, tourists usually find nightlife connections in designated entertainment zones, through social venues, or increasingly through online platforms. Each method has advantages and disadvantages, and experiences vary depending on expectations, behavior, and awareness. Visitors who arrive informed, manage their spending, and stay respectful often leave with interesting stories rather than regrets. And while nightlife may be part of the adventure, many travelers eventually realize that Thailand's real charm lies in its people, landscapes, food, and culture, experiences that last long after neon lights fade. The nightlife in Thailand is widely known among tourists, not only for its excitement and energy but also for the complex systems of entertainment where money changes hands in ways that many first-time visitors do not fully understand. One of the most common experiences for newcomers is being misled or overcharged in bars, clubs, and other entertainment venues, sometimes resulting in paying far more than they anticipated. Understanding these methods can help travelers navigate nightlife safely and avoid unnecessary expenses. One of the most frequent ways tourists are exploited is through inflated drink bills. A common scenario occurs when a tourist orders a few drinks for themselves and a local hostess or companion. What seems straightforward quickly escalates as additional charges appear on the bill. In some bars, drinks ordered for friends or other staff members are added without clear communication. The tourist, caught in the excitement of the environment, often pays without questioning the extra costs. Over time, visitors learn that asking for clarification in advance and confirming prices before ordering prevents many of these situations. Another prevalent tactic is the bait-and-switch pricing. Tourists are shown a menu or told a price for a drink or service, but when the bill arrives, the price has increased significantly. This can happen with alcoholic beverages, snacks, or other services offered in bars and clubs. Venues sometimes rely on tourists' unfamiliarity with local prices or lack of attention after consuming alcohol. Being vigilant, observing what other patrons are paying, and requesting written confirmation can reduce the risk of overpayment. A related situation involves hidden fees and service charges. Certain establishments add mandatory service fees, entrance fees, or additional taxes that are not clearly communicated. Tourists may assume the initial price covers everything, but upon receiving the bill, they find extra costs. While some fees are legitimate under local regulations, others are exaggerated or misrepresented. Asking for a detailed breakdown and confirming all charges in advance is essential. Tourists also encounter time-based charges when they spend private time with a hostess or companion. In some nightlife areas, bars charge for the hours a customer spends with a hostess, separate from drinks or tips. This is often not explained clearly upfront, and tourists discover the cost only when it is too late. Negotiating or agreeing on the total cost in advance is the safest way to avoid unpleasant surprises. Another common method of financial exploitation is fake promotions or special offers. A tourist may be told about a special deal that seems too good to be true, such as a discounted drink package or an all-inclusive experience. In some cases, the deal does not exist, or additional conditions apply that the visitor was not informed about. Being skeptical of offers that appear unusually favorable and verifying details before committing can prevent being taken advantage of. Overcharging for companionship or services is another risk. Some hostesses or freelancers may initially quote a price, but during the encounter, they suggest or imply that additional payments are required for extended time, certain activities, or perceived extra attention. Tourists unfamiliar with local norms or hesitant to negotiate may end up paying far more than initially agreed. Clear communication and written or verbal agreements on total costs are recommended. Transportation-related scams are also common in nightlife areas. Drivers of taxis, tuk-tuks, or motorbike taxis sometimes charge inflated rates for short distances, take longer routes, or demand extra payment late at night. Tourists unaware of normal fares may overpay, often unknowingly. Using reputable transportation options, agreeing on fares in advance, and asking hotel staff for guidance are effective strategies to avoid this problem. Street-level scams can also target tourists. Individuals may approach visitors with offers of companionship, special parties, or exclusive venues. These interactions can escalate into situations where tourists are led to pay more than expected. Pressured to buy drinks, or directed to establishments that provide misleading services. Maintaining situational awareness and being cautious about accepting unsolicited offers is important. In some nightlife districts, particularly in cities like Bangkok, Pattaya, or Phuket, tourists may encounter transgender workers or performers, often referred to locally as Ladyboys. While many interactions are genuine and consensual, some individuals may use ambiguity or tourists' unfamiliarity to encourage higher spending, particularly if a visitor assumes certain identities or services. Respectful and clear communication helps avoid misunderstandings and ensures that both parties agree on expectations and costs. Another method of overcharging involves package deals or inclusive arrangements. A tourist may be presented with a package that includes drinks, companionship, or entertainment. However, hidden conditions, additional fees, or selective inclusion of services often inflate the final cost. Carefully reading the terms and asking explicit questions about what is included prevents surprises. Alcohol often plays a central role in financial exploitation. Tourists who consume excessive amounts may make impulsive decisions, agree to additional services, or overlook hidden charges. Establishments rely on alcohol to lower caution and encourage spending. Pacing consumption and staying aware of surroundings can significantly reduce financial risk. Tourists are also sometimes subjected to peer pressure or social influence in nightlife settings. Friendly conversation, attention from hostesses, or encouragement from staff may lead to buying more drinks or extending time beyond initial intentions. While the social aspect is appealing, awareness of potential financial implications is crucial. Currency exchange and informal payment methods can create further complications. Tourists exchanging money on the street or using informal methods may receive unfavorable rates or lose track of exact amounts paid. Establishments sometimes exploit confusion over currency conversion to increase charges. Using official exchange services and keeping precise records helps prevent overpayment. Another subtle tactic is creating urgency or fear of missing out. Tourists may be told that a venue is closing soon, a deal is ending, or someone is only available for a limited time. The sense of urgency encourages quick decisions and higher spending. Remaining calm, verifying details, and taking time to evaluate offers reduces susceptibility to this method. Tips and gratuities are another area where tourists can be overcharged. In some nightlife contexts, staff may expect or pressure visitors to tip beyond standard norms. While tipping is customary in many countries, ambiguity or expectation inflation can result in paying far more than intended. Observing local practices and clarifying expectations helps maintain control over spending. Tourists may also face conflicting information from multiple sources, including promoters, other patrons, or online guides. Inconsistent advice about prices, venues, or services can create confusion, leading visitors to overpay or make unnecessary purchases. Cross-checking information and relying on multiple verified sources helps mitigate this risk. Reputation and repeat visits can influence pricing strategies. Some venues or hostesses recognize repeat tourists and adjust prices accordingly. While this may seem unfair, awareness and negotiation prevent excessive spending. Maintaining discretion and discussing costs up front ensures transparency. In some cases, tourists are encouraged to purchase additional items or services under the guise of enhancing the experience. This can include extra drinks, souvenirs, or special arrangements. While some purchases are optional, subtle pressure or social norms in the setting may lead visitors to spend more than intended. Being selective and asking explicit questions about necessity helps maintain budget control. Another financial trap involves group dynamics or collective payments. Tourists visiting in groups may find themselves covering costs for companions, friends of staff, or shared services that were not clearly agreed upon. Awareness of group arrangements and insisting on individual responsibility can prevent overpayment. Some establishments may also employ confusing billing methods, such as rounding up, using different currencies, or splitting bills in unexpected ways. Tourists unfamiliar with local customs may accept charges without noticing discrepancies. Carefully reviewing the bill and requesting clarification ensures accuracy. Cultural misunderstandings can also play a role in overpayment. Tourists may not understand local customs, etiquette, or negotiation norms, resulting in paying higher prices or fees unintentionally. Learning about expected practices before engaging in nightlife reduces the likelihood of being misled. In extreme cases, tourists may encounter fraudulent claims or staged incidents designed to extract money. This can involve staged arguments, sudden emergencies, or fabricated obligations. While less common, awareness and skepticism in unusual situations protect visitors from exploitation. Travelers who spend time understanding the landscape of nightlife in Thailand generally experience fewer financial surprises. Knowledge of popular districts, expected pricing, local customs, and common tactics equips visitors to make informed decisions. Observing other patrons, asking questions, and confirming agreements before committing to purchases are essential practices. Experienced travelers often advise starting slowly, visiting multiple venues to observe pricing, interactions, and norms before engaging in more significant spending. This approach allows tourists to calibrate expectations and avoid falling victim to typical overcharging strategies. Balancing entertainment with awareness is key. Nightlife in Thailand can be vibrant and enjoyable, but unprepared tourists are at risk of spending far more than intended. Maintaining a budget, communicating clearly, and staying alert to common tactics of financial exploitation ensures that experiences remain positive. Ultimately, understanding how tourists are commonly misled or overcharged in Thailand's nightlife provides not only a safer experience but also a more enjoyable one. Awareness, preparation, and respect for local norms allow visitors to navigate the scene confidently, enjoy interactions, and make choices that align with their intentions without succumbing to unnecessary expenses. Knowing the methods, patterns, and common traps transforms nightlife from a potential financial hazard into a controlled and memorable part of the travel experience. Alright, let's get straight to the point. If you're a tourist rolling into Thailand thinking everything is cheap, easy, and all fun, brace yourself. The nightlife here isn't just about drinks, music, and neon lights. There's a whole system designed to separate you from your cash, and the biggest players aren't always bars or clubs, they're the girls you meet. Not all of them are who they seem. Some are straight-up scammers, pros at making you think you're getting something real, while in reality, they're out to drain your wallet. First off, the term fake girls isn't just hype. These are women, or sometimes transgender performers, known locally as Ladyboys, who present themselves as independent companions, locals just looking to hang out, or sometimes even romantically interested in you. Tourists, especially ones who haven't been around these scenes, are easy targets. The charm, the attention, the flirty texts, all part of the trap. Before you know it, you're buying rounds of drinks, paying for extras that weren't even mentioned, or getting pulled into situations where the rules change after the fact. One classic scheme is the bar girl hustle. You meet a girl at a bar or club, she's charming, laughs at your jokes, makes you feel special. You think she's just friendly. Then the drinks start piling up, she orders things for herself, maybe for her friends, and the bill grows. Some bars add hidden service charges or make you pay for bottles you didn't explicitly ask for. If you try to argue, the staff will get pushy, and the girl will sweetly remind you she's just trying to enjoy the night. You're too drunk or embarrassed to push back, and bam, you just paid triple for 2 drinks. Then there's the freelancer hustle. Some girls work independently, meet tourists on the street, via apps, or in public areas. They offer companionship for a set price, but once you're out of public view, suddenly, conditions change. More money is expected for time extensions, certain activities, or just because they feel like it. Many tourists pay up because they don't want to cause drama or look like an asshole. The kicker. If you refuse, the girl can turn hostile, threaten to call friends, or suddenly act offended, leaving you feeling trapped. It's social manipulation 101. A big one that trips up foreigners is the ladyboy trap. Thailand is famous for its transgender nightlife scene, and many first-timers don't know how to navigate it. Some ladyboys are upfront, some hide their identity initially, and some use ambiguity to encourage tourists to spend more money. For example, you might agree on a price, thinking you're with a cisgender girl, only to discover later that the person has different expectations or standards, which they use to justify additional fees. Shock, confusion, and embarrassment keep tourists from standing their ground. Then there's the fake romantic connection. These scammers can be highly professional. They'll text you, flirt, and give the illusion of genuine interest. They know what tourists want: attention, validation, maybe even the fantasy of a short-term romance. Once trust is built, they start suggesting extras, like going somewhere private, visiting a different bar, or buying gifts. Tourists think it's part of the fun or romance, but every step is calculated to make you pay more. By the end of the night, or week, you're shelling out hundreds, sometimes thousands, for an experience that's as fake as the text you were reading. Some girls will even play the victim. Maybe they pretend to have financial problems, need help with a friend, or want to split bills for everyone involved. Tourists who are naive or too polite fall for it every time. The scam works because it mixes charm with guilt, two powerful levers in a social transaction. Street-level scams also exist. In busy nightlife districts, girls sometimes approach tourists with special offers for parties, private shows, or exclusive experiences. These can be real deals, but more often than not, it's a bait. You might follow her to a nearby venue, only to find hidden fees, inflated charges, or an entirely different setup than promised. And arguing usually won't help because the girl and the staff are already in cahoots. Trained to keep tourists paying. Even apps and social media aren't safe. Plenty of fake profiles are run by individuals or groups aiming to lure tourists. The setup is simple: friendly chat, flirty conversation, promises of meeting up. Once you're in the frame, you're encouraged to buy drinks, pay for transportation, or cover unexpected expenses. Sometimes it's a staged meetup with multiple accomplices. The sophistication can be impressive, making it hard to tell real from fake until it's too late. Transportation also plays a role. Tuk-tuk drivers or motorbike taxis often know the hot spots and may offer to take tourists to the best bars or exclusive parties. What many don't realize is that drivers often get kickbacks from venues or girls, meaning they're literally steering you toward higher spending. Agreeing on fares up front and being skeptical of unsolicited guidance is crucial. So how do you spot these scams? Awareness is the first line of defense. Any interaction that pushes for fast decisions, secretive payments, or unusual arrangements should be questioned. Ask upfront about costs, clarify expectations, and watch for inconsistent stories. Politeness is good, but don't let charm or flirtation override common sense. Another tactic is peer pressure in social groups. A girl may bring friends into the situation, or the venue staff may imply that everyone else is spending, subtly encouraging you to match their behavior. FOMO, the fear of missing out, is a powerful psychological trick. Keep your budget and stick to it. Just because everyone else is paying doesn't mean you have to. Experience also teaches the value of pacing. Nights in bars, clubs, and private venues are long, and alcohol clouds judgment. Don't let intoxication push you into situations you wouldn't agree to sober. Slow down, observe, and make decisions deliberately. Finally, it's worth noting that not all women or ladyboys in these scenes are scammers. Many are professionals doing their job legitimately, and some genuinely enjoy interacting with tourists. But the scams are common enough that being cautious is a survival skill for any visitor. Clear communication, setting boundaries, and insisting on agreed-upon terms help protect your wallet and avoid unnecessary drama. In the end, Thailand's nightlife is a mix of fantasy, charm, and calculated profit. Fake girls and scammers thrive because tourists often arrive naive, overexcited, and underinformed. By understanding the patterns, the flattery, the pressure, the hidden fees, travelers can enjoy nightlife without losing control over their money. Being alert, skeptical, and deliberate turns what could be a costly nightmare into an entertaining, memorable experience. Neon lights, music, and laughter can be amazing, but only if you know how to play the game without getting played yourself. You land in Thailand, excited for your first night out. The neon lights are buzzing, the streets are alive, and everything seems cheap and easy. But hold up, if you're not careful, that excitement can drain your wallet faster than you can say, Pad Thai. Nightlife here is like a jungle, and tourists are the prey. The good news? With some awareness and a few simple rules, you can enjoy the wild nights without leaving your money behind. First things first, set your budget before you even step outside your hotel. Sounds obvious, right? But you'd be surprised how many people forget this simple rule. Decide how much cash you're willing to spend and stick to it. Keep most of your money tucked away, only carry what you absolutely need. When you're walking into a bar, club, or massage joint, you should know exactly how much you're ready to part with. Don't let the bright lights and flirty smiles trick you into spending more than you planned. Next up, clarify costs up front. Whether you're talking about drinks, private time, or tips, ask first. Don't assume anything. If a girl, bartender, or tuk-tuk driver quotes a price, repeat it back to confirm. This prevents the classic surprise bill scenario that hits so many tourists. In Thailand, hidden fees are common, and being vague about money is an open invitation for overcharging. A simple question like, just to be clear, that's 500 baht, right? can save you a headache later. Keep your wits about you when it comes to drinks and companionship. Tourists often fall into the trap of buying drinks for someone they just met, thinking it's harmless fun. But here's the kicker: bars may add extra charges for every drink your new friend orders, including drinks for staff or friends you didn't even notice. If you're not paying attention, one casual round can turn into a massive tab. The rule: only buy what you agree on and make sure everyone knows the price. Another common pitfall is the rush of the moment. Thailand's nightlife is designed to excite you: music blasting, lights flashing, people laughing. It's easy to get carried away, spend more than you intended, or agree to services without knowing the cost. Slow down. Take a minute, think, and ask questions. If something feels rushed or too good to be true, it probably is. Watch out for fake connections. Some people you meet are genuinely fun to hang out with. Others? Not so much. Scammers and freelancers know exactly how to charm tourists, make them feel special, and then gradually encourage more spending. Texts, flattery, and attention are all tools to get you to open your wallet. Remember, attention is cheap for them, but expensive for you if you're not careful. Use your phone smartly. Apps for dating or meeting people are common, but don't blindly trust everyone online. Fake profiles, staged photos, and misleading promises are rampant. Always confirm where you're going, how much it costs, and who you're meeting. If a person refuses to provide details, walk away. It's better to miss a fun night than lose a bunch of cash. Transportation is another sneaky money trap. Tuk-tuks and taxis near nightlife areas often know the bars and clubs where commissions are waiting. They might suggest the best place in town that's actually overpriced. Always negotiate fares beforehand, and if possible, check prices with your hotel or a trusted source. Never assume the first driver you meet has your best interest in mind. Group dynamics can be dangerous too. Going out with friends is fun, but sometimes group pressure pushes people to spend more than they planned. If everyone is ordering rounds of drinks, paying for others, or agreeing to extras, it's easy to get caught up. Stay aware of your own budget, and don't feel obligated to match everyone else. A critical tip: pacing is everything. Alcohol dulls judgment and makes tourists more vulnerable to overcharging. Don't drink too fast, don't agree to expensive extras while tipsy, and always keep track of what you're spending. A little self-control goes a long way in keeping your money where it belongs. Finally, respect and awareness are your best defenses. Polite firmness, clear communication, and confidence in handling situations can prevent most scams. Thailand's nightlife thrives on tourists being polite but naive. Don't give them that advantage. Ask questions, insist on clarity, and remember that saying no is always okay. By following these steps, setting a budget, clarifying costs, watching for fake connections, negotiating transport, pacing yourself, and staying alert, you can enjoy Thailand's nightlife without emptying your wallet. Neon lights, loud music, and beautiful people can be a blast, but only if you're playing smart, not being played. When done right, nightlife in Thailand is unforgettable. You get the excitement, the energy, and the adventure, without regrets, without surprises, and most importantly, without losing your hard-earned cash. Stay aware, stay smart, and you'll walk away with stories worth remembering, not a lighter wallet. You've just landed in Thailand. The streets are buzzing, neon lights are flashing, and everyone seems friendly. Bars, clubs, and nightlife districts promise excitement, adventure, and fun, but here's the thing: not everything you hear is true. Tourists get lied to all the time. And if you're not careful, those lies can cost you hundreds, even thousands of baht, before you realize what's happening. First off, there's the classic line, "It's cheap, just a drink, no problem." Sounds harmless, right? But one drink can turn into 10. Bars often add hidden costs, drinks for staff, friends, of your companion, and service charges that magically appear on the bill. Tourists think they're being generous or just having fun, but they're really being nudged into overpaying. Always ask for the price up front, and confirm what exactly is included. If they hesitate, walk away. Then there's the "I'm just a friend" story. A girl might act like she's hanging out for fun, that you're just two people chatting and enjoying a night. In reality, she's working in the nightlife industry, either for a bar, an agency, or freelance, and expects compensation. Tourists often assume they're doing a good deed or simply enjoying company, only to be hit with a bill later that makes their wallet cringe. Don't be afraid to clarify the situation before you commit to any time or drinks. Another common lie is about timing. This price is for 1 hour, nothing more. Sounds fair, but once you leave the bar or move somewhere else, suddenly extra charges appear, extra hour fees, taxi fees, or special services you didn't ask for. The key is always agreeing clearly on total costs beforehand, including travel, extras, and tips. Transportation is another tricky part. Tuk-tuk drivers and taxi drivers often act helpful, saying, "I know the best place, don't worry." What they don't tell you is that many venues pay them commissions. You might end up somewhere more expensive, paying inflated prices, simply because the driver has a deal behind the scenes. Always negotiate fares up front and know your approximate cost before you leave. Then there's the subtle psychological play, flattery and attention. Many tourists get charmed into believing a girl is genuinely interested, only to discover later that the attention was a tool to make you spend more. Texts, compliments, and playful conversation are part of the routine. Experienced visitors learn to enjoy the attention but never assume it's free. Set limits on how much time and money you're willing to spend. Fake profiles on dating apps and social media also contribute. Tourists meet someone online, get flirty messages, and arrange a meetup. But sometimes the person doesn't exist, or they expect immediate money for drinks, transportation, or private time. Always confirm the plan, costs, and who you're meeting. If details seem sketchy, skip it. It's better to miss a night out than get scammed. Group dynamics can also lead to overspending. If you're out with friends, you may feel pressured to keep up with everyone else's orders, tips, or excursions. Peer pressure in nightlife can be subtle but effective. Everyone seems to be paying more, and suddenly you're throwing cash around just to fit in. Keep your budget firm and don't let anyone guilt you into spending more. Then there's the ladyboy factor, which confuses many first-time visitors. Some ladyboys may be upfront, others may not reveal everything immediately. Ambiguity is used to encourage higher spending. Always confirm your expectations and price before you commit. Embarrassment or surprise afterward can make tourists reluctant to argue, which is exactly what the scammer wants. Alcohol is a huge factor in losing control of spending. Bars, clubs, and parties are designed to make tourists drink. Once you've had a few, judgment gets clouded. You might agree to extras or overlook hidden costs because you're caught up in the fun. Pace yourself, track your spending, and never let alcohol make your decisions for you. Another lie is about inclusivity, all fees included. Often not true. Cover charges, service fees, or hidden tips get added afterward. Check bills carefully. Ask questions, and don't assume that the first number you see is the total. Clear communication saves a lot of headaches. Fake emergencies are another tactic. A girl or a companion might claim sudden problems, needing you to cover expenses quickly. Tourists, caught off guard, often pay immediately. Always step back and evaluate the situation before handing over money. If it feels manipulative, it probably is. Tips and gratuities can be another sneaky area. While tipping is normal, some venues exaggerate expectations or pressure you to tip far more than customary. Ask locals or check reliable guides for norms, and stick to what you feel is fair. Finally, stay alert and trust your instincts. Any situation that feels rushed, confusing, or pressuring is a red flag. The nightlife is exciting, but excitement can blind you. Taking a moment to breathe, clarify costs, and ask questions will prevent most financial mistakes. By keeping your wits, setting clear budgets, confirming costs, pacing yourself, and staying aware of scams, you can enjoy Thailand's nightlife without losing control over your money. Neon lights, music, and parties are amazing, but only if you're playing smart and not being played. In short, ask, confirm, pace, and always stay alert. Thailand's nightlife can be unforgettable, but only when you keep your cash and your sanity intact. So, you've landed in Thailand, ready to hit the bars, clubs, or maybe explore a little adult nightlife. You might think, it's cheap here, I'll just have a few drinks, hang out, and spend a small amount. Well, let's break down the reality. How much do tourists actually spend on a single night out, and why does it often end up being way more than they imagined? First, let's talk basics. A tourist walking into a typical nightlife area in Bangkok, Pattaya, or Phuket might start with a few beers. In many bars, a bottle of local beer costs around 100 to 150 baht, $3.5 USD. Sounds cheap, right? But the minute you start ordering drinks for a companion or someone you just met, costs go up fast. A lady drink, which is a drink you buy for a hostess or local girl, can easily be 150 to 250 baht, $5.8 USD, per drink. Buy 3 or 4, and suddenly your $10, 15 outing just doubled. Now, consider drinks for yourself, the person you're with, and any additional friends that join. Bars sometimes quietly add these to your tab. That's the first trick: small, repeated purchases that feel harmless, but add up without you noticing. A casual tourist expecting to spend $20 on beers may end up spending $50 or more before midnight. Next, there's tips and cover charges. Some venues advertise no cover, but once you're inside, service charges, table fees, or hidden taxes appear on the bill. You might get a special table with music, and suddenly there's an extra 200 to 500 baht tacked onto your tab. Add tips for staff or hostesses, and you're another $10, 20 in. For tourists unfamiliar with local customs, this feels normal, but it's money leaving your pocket fast. Transportation also adds to the bill. Tuk-tuks and taxis near nightlife hubs often quote inflated prices for short rides, especially late at night. A ride that should cost 100 baht may end up 300 to 400 baht if you're naive or don't negotiate up front. Many tourists take the first offer because it's convenient or they're tired, but this can easily add $10, 15 more to a night out. Then comes the bigger cost: companionship or private time. Some tourists are fine with paying for a hostess to spend time with them in a bar, others may seek additional services outside. Prices vary widely. For a simple social visit, a few hundred baht may suffice, but if you're talking about extended time, drinks, and travel, costs can skyrocket. A night with a hostess could realistically cost anywhere from 1,000 to 3,000 baht, $30, 90 USD, and that's before considering extra activities or late-night transport. Many tourists underestimate the impact of alcohol consumption and impulsive decisions. One drink leads to another, one special suggestion leads to a bigger tab, and suddenly a night that should cost $50 turns into $150 or more. It's easy to lose track when the music is loud, the lights are flashing, and someone is flattering you. Bars and hostesses know this. They design the environment to encourage spending, not restraint. A typical night might look like this: you arrive at a bar around 9 p.m. You buy a few beers for yourself, say 300 baht. You meet a local girl and buy her a few drinks, another 500 to 800 baht. The bar adds a table service fee or small charges, 200 to 300 baht. Tuk-tuk home or to another venue, 300 to 400 baht. And maybe you decide to stay out later and visit another spot, buying a few more drinks and lady drinks, another 500 to 700 baht. By 2 to 3 a.m., what started as a $20, 30 night can easily reach $100, 150 USD. That's not including any additional expenses like snacks, entry fees for shows, or tips. Ladyboys and freelancers add another variable. If a tourist wants company outside the bar, prices are negotiated, but the expectation is often higher than imagined. Some people expect extended time or multiple activities, and it's easy to pay double what you initially budgeted. A tourist thinking $50 for companionship may end up spending $100, $150 if they don't confirm all details up front. Scams and hidden fees also contribute to spending. Bars may forget to mention additional costs, or companions may suggest extras that were never agreed upon. These psychological tricks, using charm, flattery, or subtle pressure, work extremely well on tourists who are naive or overly polite. Experienced visitors often recommend asking clear questions: what is the total cost for everything tonight, and sticking strictly to that number. Even group outings can inflate costs. Tourists traveling with friends may split bills or feel pressured to match spending. If one person buys several rounds, others often follow, not wanting to appear cheap. This social dynamic can easily add another 500 to 1,000 baht, $15, 30 USD, to a night. Finally, late-night surprises can add up. Some venues or companions suggest trips to another club, karaoke, or private room after midnight. Drinks there are more expensive, cover fees higher, and transportation costs surge. A night that started modestly becomes an expensive adventure. So, what's the realistic takeaway? A tourist in Thailand's nightlife, who wants a mix of drinks, socializing, and light companionship, can easily spend $50, $150 in a single night if they're not careful. Add in extra experiences, transportation, tips, or being less vigilant, and it's easy to see a $200 plus night without realizing how it happened. The numbers vary by city. Bangkok and Pattaya are generally more expensive than smaller tourist towns, but the pattern is consistent: small charges, hidden fees, charm, and social pressure add up quickly. The best defense? Budget, awareness, negotiation, and pacing. Decide what you're willing to spend before you step out, confirm prices up front, don't buy unnecessary extras, and stay sober enough to track your expenses. Keep some cash aside for transportation and emergencies. And most importantly, remember that nightlife is about fun, not about spending every baht you brought. Thailand's nightlife can be wild, exciting, and unforgettable, but tourists who aren't careful often leave with empty wallets and regret. Knowing the patterns, typical costs, and common tricks allows you to enjoy the energy, the music, and the company, without overspending. A night out here can be an adventure, but only if you're smart about your money. In the end, a prepared tourist can enjoy a full night of drinks, bars, and companions for roughly $50, $100, stretching to $150, $200 if they opt for extras or a longer night. Anything beyond that usually comes from impulsive decisions, hidden fees, or scams. Keep your wits, stick to your budget, and you'll walk away with stories, not regret.